It's time for Who Watch, Time and Relative Blackness in Space.
The box.
Hi everyone, it's Bayana, Connie, and Robin coming to you live from the Time Vortex.
Today we're discussing episode 6 of Doctor Who season 10, Extremis. In this episode, the Doctor is asked to read a scary book, Bill's date is interrupted by the Pope, and Nardole is apparently River's fault.
They didn't have to assassinate her character after she died. That's out of pocket.
Somewhat River's fault.
That's so rude.
What I wrote down was all your
come on, River. You don't have to do us like that.
All of them.
This is disrespectful.
Even the fictional ones.
Did nobody ask for him?
Even the fictional ones are problematic.
I have a lot of questions about that.
I actually put two quotes from Nardole to talk about this time. So
yeah, I just have a lot of questions about the order of events. In terms of it being River's fault, I'm confused.
Oh my god.
This episode was confusing.
The entire episode was
What
confusing.
is happening?
So confusing.
What year is it?
And I mean, I think part of the reason, right, is because, I think that if they hadn't put Missy in there, which, by the way, we were right, sort of.
I mean,
one of the masters is in that vault. No, it really wasn't. But I think that, one of the things that made it so confusing is the fact that they put Missy in the episode. If Missy hadn't been in the episode, I think it would have been easier to figure out, you know what I mean? Because it was still confusing without that, but I think that particular part was okay, so what is happening? Where are we? Is this still the the Doctor Who framework? That's basically what they were in. I'm like, what is happening here? And
we do not speak of the
okay,
framework.
but that's what it was.
Is this gonna be it? This is Black Girls Create rule. It spans all podcasts. Please stop it. No. I haven't even finished the season. I haven't even watched the season finale yet because I can't.
But I told you the thing that you wanted to know.
Back to last episode.
But
I know.
Okay.
But I'm not in the headspace yet. Back to last episode. Again, Doctor Who, could you please talk to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Could you guys communicate and say, hey, Robin is a little fragile right now. Let's not do this here.
I mean, yeah. That's what it was, basically. And it was, I was definitely, I ended up watching it twice.
Yeah, I just finished watching it.
I took notes the first time, and then I was I'm still not really clear on what was going on. So then I ended up watching it again this morning, and I was all right, I follow it a little better. But it was definitely confusing, especially with the Missy part, which, I still, and since it's a two-parter, I'm still not totally sure where it, fits. Oh, 3. You're right.
It's a 3-parter?
So
awesome.
I'm still not.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, because I'm like, where does she actually fit in this particular storyline? Is he gonna let her out? I get that the regret was her, but I don't know. There were just things that I don't know, wibbly wobbly.
Okay, well let's just start off then with why now? Missy has done some shit. The Master has done some shit. The Master whole tenure. Mm-hmm. So where was she that she was getting executed? And what is she
and who are these people
right.
who have captured her and you must execute her, Doctor? Sorry.
Yeah, Homeboy's collar made me think it was Gallifrey, right. But he was the only one, and it wasn't he was the only one in that outfit, and it wasn't super Gallifreyan. It was just I don't know.
He was popping. He was popping low key, but they called them executioners, and so that's kind of just what I was calling them in my head. But I'm what planet is this? Are they the way that they talked about the laws of death and killing people? It seemed are they the Death Lords? They seemed real Or, like, maybe they're, like, a...
Like, they're the Time Lords.
And then there's, like, exactly, because I was like, are they on Gallifrey? And this is just, like, a different sect of Gallifrey, and, like, they lord over a different part of, like...
Right, I guess that's something that...
You know what I mean? Or is it a different planet, and they still preside over a different part of the universe, but, like... Or aspect of the universe. But, I don't know. They're definitely not Time Lords.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
And I mean, death is a part of time, so I mean,
right.
Like, in terms of like Gallifrey, like, you know what I mean? That's like, it's like time and space, and then there's like your own personal timeline and mortality, I guess. Mortality, Lord.
Fatality.
But like,
right.
But like that whole thing too is also just kind of confusing because again, like, what time is it? What year was Clara? Like, if he's been watching over her, like, if he's had this vault for 1,000 years,
I don't think he has.
Did he take the vault back in time?
He hasn't. He hasn't had it 1,000 years yet. Like,
yeah, it hasn't.
And I don't even think.
Yeah, it hasn't been 1,000 years yet. But where in the span? Like, how long? Because it just said, I don't know how long ago it's. I can't remember.
It said a long
anyone
time
wrote that
ago.
Down. I think it just said, like,
it
the
said
past.
Wait, hold up. But it's definitely after Beryllium, right?
Yes.
So in his timeline, this is after Clara.
Yes.
Because Clara died before he went to Beryllium with River. Right. So this has... So it's like... So it's his timeline. Like, it's a long time ago for us. But, like, for him, that might have been, like, 2 years ago. And, you know... This is just where he is. And then I guess
he took the vault.
I don't think... It's definitely not been 1,000 years since he's had Missy.
No, but I'm not even talking about his timeline, because, like, that's too much to wrap my head around in general. I've given up on that. But, like, okay, if Clara was, like, 2016, did he then take the vault back to 20... Like, is Bill living in 2017, or is she living in, like, 2052?
No, she's in 2017.
She's in 2017. So I'm assuming that the Doctor and Nardole took the vault. And then because time travel, we're like, oh, let's go to Earth. So they arrived in like 1950, whatever. And he's been teaching at that school in the same place for that long. And he just knows that in his past, he has not crossed. He has not been there, maybe. And so he knows that he won't cross himself from the past. Like, so he's in England on Earth in 2016, the same time, but across town from where he is with Clara in 2016, I assume. And now he's just hanging out with Bill a year later. Right. Okay. But, like, a past Doctor is possibly running around England at the same time. But also, that's an interesting thought in general of, like, the Doctor, because he can do time, you know, go anywhere in time and space. How many, what's the max number of doctors, like, who can be running around England because it's the only place he goes at the same time? Like,
no, I mean, I think about that all the time. I'm like, so, like, if you
London
go back,
is a big
like...
city.
But are you, like, is the Doctor literally, like, he's fielding different, like, crises in the same year, possibly on the same day sometimes, like, oh, Daleks over here, fucking, like, Cybermen over here, and 2 different Doctors, 2 different timelines are handling that shit. Like, it's weird to think about.
S12 has been at this university for, like, 50, 70 years, nobody knows. That means that he's been in England all this time. And all of his past selves have been hanging out across town. 9's across town, meeting Rose at some point. 10 is across town talking about the invasion. And he's just hanging out like, oh yeah, there's that invasion happening across town. What?
When Earth got took by the Daleks to make the reality bomb, where was he? He was just like, guess I'm just gonna keep teaching about space. And crop circles and shit. Like,
yeah, because he was like, I remember this. We got it.
I guess.
I was there. I got that. But I think also the other thing is, like, the Doctor is Dumbledore. Yes. Like, just, like, really trusting his instinct at this point. Like, don't go over there, because other you is over there. And you're okay. But, like, it's always really confusing, right? Because, like, future or present day Doctor knows or should know where past Doctor is, so he wouldn't cross his own time stream on purpose. But past Doctor doesn't know. So,
but because future Doctor knows, Doctor knows. He knows his thought, and so
he can be like, "Ooh, I'm about to come over here in 2 seconds, so let me just go dip real quick." Like,
right. Let me take a nap because I am exhausted already, and we haven't even gotten to it.
Okay.
I mean,
But that was, like, the one thing that was, like, I was, like, I need, and I know that they don't want to do this, and I remember, like, I tell everyone that I introduce to Who, like, don't ask too many questions
this episode, y'all.
Because just, like, be okay with the ambiguity of his timeline and time in general, because if you try to figure it out, it's just gonna fall apart, and or you're never gonna figure it out, and it's gonna bother you, and it's gonna ruin, right, and you're gonna kind of ruin your enjoyment of, like, what you're in the now. But there was something about this episode, and maybe it was Nardole, maybe it was, like, River, because of how much I love River. But I found myself being like, okay, but wait, like, I need to figure this out. And, like, I have always been, like, since I discovered Doctor Who, I've always been, like, to everyone, like, don't try to figure it out. Like, figure out the episode, figure out the season's arc, but don't try to figure out the timeline, because it's a futile exercise. When Nardole said River, like, he started reading that thing and he said River, my brain was like, okay, I need to
talk about that, because I have all of the questions. And like you said, don't question it too much, but there's also a level of, okay, but you wrote Moffat wrote this episode, so it's like, but you wrote the River episode, like the first River episode, so why aren't the timelines matching the way that they should? So Nardole has River's notebook, he's reading from it, and he's like, River sent me from Darillium, your late wife sent me from Darillium to like, I guess, like, watch over you and make sure you don't do anything stupid. That makes no sense, Moffat. It makes no sense. She left Darillium, had no idea she was dying, went to the library, had her notebook with her, and Ten got the notebook. So if Nardole followed from Darillium, how did he get the notebook, and how does he know that River's dead without the doctor telling him or showing up in the TARDIS to, like, be like, oh, here's the notebook, oh, River died. Like, he shouldn't know that information. Because River didn't know, because she walked into that library and was just like, wait, why are you so sad? I don't know your face.
One thing I got from that was that River, but until you said the thing about the notebook, because then that I didn't clock, but I just kind of figured River was like, take this, follow him, you won't see me anymore. Like, just, like, knowing at Darillium that, like, because there's a moment when, and it was, like, just so sad, but that was back with 11 when they have their first last kiss, and she's like, okay, this is, we're at the end of this now. So, when they meet in Darillium, she kind of already knows, like, that wasn't supposed to happen, sort of thing. Like, that was already Moffat kind of playing.
Yeah, because she knew that
with the timeline,
he would never take her to Darillium, because he always got sad when he talked about it. So that whenever they finally got there, it was, like, sadness. But the notebook thing is probably the most important part of, like, but I don't get it. Like, I can understand what you're saying about, like, she, like, had a feeling and kind of maybe knew she might not see him again, and so sent Nardole after him. But then why did he plant the notebook?
But the notebook thing
Why did he plant the notebook
I mean,
like that?
I think part of the notebook is to make it, like, you know, nostalgic. It's like, oh, River. It's possibly a time, like, I'm sure if you asked him, he would figure out a way to explain it, and it, like,
River had 2 notebooks.
Would still be like, but what? Right. But, like, again, like Robin was saying, like,
copies.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, she could also, like, and I don't know this, but she could have also went and grabbed another version from another part of her timeline. You know what I mean? Like, there are ways. There are multiple of those books traveling around in time, and, like, and so it's just, like, it's not, I don't know. Your head's gonna hurt if you keep thinking about it.
Let's get away from the time, because our brains
we'll spend
can't
the entire
really
episode talking about it and never talk about the rest of the episode.
Right. So the execution of Missy, that little contraption, that was interesting. It will take out the 3 brain stems.
Apparently that's the first time we're ever finding that information out. Like, I Googled somewhere and they were like, they've never said that before. So, yay, new fact.
new facts about Time Lord DNA or genetics.
Biology?
Or whatever
Biology.
the proper word is for that. Yeah, biology. Thank you. Thank you.
I got you, cuz.
Science. I was a film major.
Girl, I was a comm major. I don't know science.
I was a film major.
I only know bio. I only know bio.
I don't even know that. So, like, that was really interesting because, apparently it's the first time we've learned that. That's new information about the Time Lords. But also that the Doctor at some point, like, rejiggered that machine so he wouldn't kill Missy. That was really interesting, too, because, I mean, I kind of figured that would be the case. Because also it's just, like, John Sims' master, like, died and then came back, or whatever. It's like, all right.
The other thing, though, is that, like,
you can't do that.
They're still not even sure that thing works the whole time, because it's like, after we kill him, you gotta still keep him in the vault for 1,000 years just in case something goes wrong and they do wake up. Like, so really, that's just like a contraption that they are like, it could kill Time Lord, could not. We don't know.
It's very Pandorica now that I think
just
about it.
Just gonna try.
Let's try it. Yeah, that was the thing that I got. So I got from this episode, Pandorica, and then, I wrote it down. Silence in the library, obviously, because of the river.
And the library.
Thing, but then also, they went
exactly,
to the library.
That was...
And I was like...
Always full circle.
Yeah. And I love libraries. And also, I love the idea, and since this is a sister podcast to Wizard Team, let's just call a thing, Harry Potter references.
Yeah.
This is the best thing
always
ever. And then
always
Martha is the only other companion who has made that connection as well.
Right.
So like
so I have one thing about Martha as well, which is like, yes, she's the only other companion that has made a Doctor Who reference, so let's have a
Harry Potter reference.
Not a moment of silence, but a moment of like,
we out here.
Yeah, what did
Black
I say?
Potterheads traveling in time and space.
Yes.
It's lit. Tarbis.
We represented Tarbis. But then, okay, so then that happens, and I was super excited, and then they go into that spinning room thing of the
Department of Mysteries.
And I was like, okay, wait, so we have the Pentagon, we have
CERN,
the Vatican. Where the hell is Martha Jones in Unit? We can't see Martha Jones in Unit? Just for Pete. You couldn't give us that? You know that's what we want.
That's all we want.
That's what
all I want is for Bill and Martha to like see each other just once.
Right! Just
I
one time.
don't know about that, y'all. I don't know about
it could be in passing. They could just
really
run into each other on the street and be like, "Oh, my bad," and keep going. That's all I need. Just one.
They don't even have to know. They don't even have to know.
We just have to know.
Why couldn't they have walked into that room and like shout out to the black woman working in Langley? Hey, and she was like, y'all got clearance to be here? But why couldn't that have been Martha being like, y'all got clearance to be here? What's, like, just a little...
You know what would be fun? A fun way to do that? So you know in Blink how most of the episode is not focused on Martha and the Doctor? What if somehow...
Oh, and she's working in the shop?
Well, no, just what if somehow... whatever, like, Martha and 10 were chasing, somehow Bill and 12 were also, like, chasing it, and then you just know that they're in the same place at the same time. Anyway, we should move on from that, because we could make fanfic about TARDIS BSU.
Them fighting the two things and a lizard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go Sting and their stuff.
Yeah, but that was my one thing was, like, not only we got the Doctor, or I keep saying that, the Harry Potter reference, but then I was like, Martha's coming. I can feel it.
I think you just want to feel it, girl. And I was like, you just want to feel it.
Girl, if Martha had come, you would have been spoiled, because you watched it after me and Connie. You would have known that going in.
Yeah, we've sort of
There's no way we wouldn't have spoiled that for you. I'm sorry. Anyway, the Doctor is still blind, y'all.
He is.
So we had the sonic sunglasses and the sonic screwdriver.
Well, I don't think the sunglasses were sonic. I mean, they made like a little noise at the end or whatever, but they're
the Sonics, I think.
Better than the original Sonic sunglasses. Like I could go with these glasses. Plus, he looks cool. He's like doing his Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? He's just walking around like a rock star. being all cryptic and
but
shit.
the glasses are so nondescript, which is, like, also great, right? Because I think that was my issue with the first time the Sonic sunglasses came out, was, like, they're so nondescript. Like, I have a pair of sunglasses that are, like, the same, like, that's, like, they're just generic-ass glasses. But I did like that he can see the outlines in, like, like, you know, male, 34 years old or whatever, and he can kind of see that. But he was not doing a very good job of hiding his blindness. No. And Nardole is not stealth at all. Like, not at all.
But I mean, like, how do you... Like, and this isn't to, like... to defend him and also not to defend Nardole. Like, how do you help someone who's, like, refusing to let anyone know that he can't see? So then you're just like, all right, now I have to kind of help this dude act like he can see things when he really can't see things. And he's just like, oh, I see this says. And you're just like, oh, okay,
well, that's
great.
Two things,
like,
right? So it's like, you guys have to have a language to do that. Mm-hmm. And the doctor didn't give him any time to do that but there's also just, like, a way to, like, I don't know, he needs to take some improv classes or something. Like, he was so bad. He was so bad. And I'm not blaming it's not his fault. Like, I wouldn't be able to, like, help the doctor in a way that was, like, completely unsuspicious, but inconspicuous. So when you're doing the thing, the editing thing, just, and then I just said the right word.
You didn't pause enough for me to be able to do that, so it's fine.
I know. But like, the problem with it for me was that he was so bad at it, and then no one was like, bruh, are you blind? Because, like, that was, like, it wasn't Nardole.
Everybody else.
Or the it was the fact that
everybody else. Like, Bill seemed dense because she couldn't tell something was off. But I don't know that she didn't necessarily think something was off. I think we also have to remember, there's a lot going on, and I think that because that end revealed that none of it was real, I'm hoping that the second time around that we go through Bill seeing the doctor for the first time since the last adventure, that maybe she'll be more on the uptake, because this time it's real.
Right, and that confused me too, right? Because then when it was like, oh, none of this is real, I was like, well, shit, has any of this been real? Is the doctor really blind? Like, what's going on? And then I realized, because, you know, at the very beginning, the doctor is sitting outside the vault and he, like, gets an email. Yes. And then I realized that, like, the rest of the episode was that email.
Yes.
And then, and so I was like, oh, okay, cool. But at first I was like, wait. And even the same thing, right? Like, when he has, like, a device that lets him, like, that gives him his sight back for, like, not for very long. I think he said, like, 15 minutes or something. And he was saying that, like, he's borrowing time, so who knows what the side effect will be. Like, he was like, maybe all my future regenerations will be blind, maybe I'll die, maybe I won't regenerate, or whatever. So then I was like, does that still transfer over to was that all fake, or did he really just, like, mess up his regenerations, or, like,
Oh, you're
still
right.
a lot of questions that I have.
That's true.
Because I wrote that down, like, oh shit, okay, that's a real consequence, and then nothing was real, so I was like, okay, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like that is nothing was real type of thing, just because we have to remember that, like, they're going to keep regenerations going as long as the show is making money and successful. Like, at the end of the day, it's a television show, right? So, like, you can't write yourself into a hole like that. And they're not, obviously, the Doctor Who is not one of those, like, Orphan Black or Breaking Bad type shows where they're like, we have a story that we're trying to tell, and once we finish it, we're done. Like, obviously, it's been around 50 years. So, I think any time, because they kind of wrote themselves into a hole with the whole, like, you only
12
get
regenerations.
12 regenerations or whatever. And they had to, like, go back and, like, retcon that. Like, I think they're going to try really hard to not write themselves into that kind of strict hole ever again. So I kind of took that as, like, oh, that's something that happened because it wasn't real. And not that he wouldn't have, I mean, like, it could happen in the
right, because that was the other thing, is I was like,
but,
just even if it doesn't actually have any consequence, like, it's so the doctor to be like, all right, I mean, I'm gonna be 15 minutes, I'm just gonna, you know what I mean, and like, who knows what's gonna happen in my future, but in this 15 minutes, I need this. So it's like the most reckless thing he could do, but it's the same thing as like him regenerating with his hand so that he didn't change his face, and you know what I mean, like real, right, like real petty shit that, like, you know, you don't have to do that. There are other ways, but okay.
Just like also the idea, so I'm thinking of Daredevil for some reason, but like Matt Murdock wasn't born blind, and like, yeah, he's got some extra skills happening there, so he's not for real blind. There are probably tons of people in real life who become blind later. Like, you just have to learn, like, okay, this is the thing that happened, and now I need, like, the tools to, like, live this new life. Or the other thing that I was thinking about, which is weird because this is a 3-parter, but we still have, 4 more episodes of the season? 5 more episodes?
After the 3-parter?
5 more? I can't do math.
8.
Yeah.
There are 13.
We have 8 more episodes?
7 more episodes. There's 13, so 7 more.
7 more. Okay,
Yeah,
but, yeah, because I was like, well, we know that he's going to regenerate at the end of the season anyway, so, like, the blindness thing is kind of a temporary no matter what, unless it's not. But then it was kind of weird because they brought it up so early in the season. But I just kind of feel like if you're not going to, like you said, like that is a super reckless thing to do when you could just do a full regeneration. Though I don't think you could.
Well, no. I'm not saying that he could in this moment do a full regeneration because he wasn't about to die.
He wasn't dying.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it was akin to him, like, about to regenerate and being like, nah, I don't want to. You know what I mean? Just things like he's not, like, accepting his lot. You know what I mean? Being like, I'm blind. Nah, I don't want to be blind. Let's figure a way around this. Who knows what kind of... Because him using that regeneration ended up being like, oh, shit, well, now, look at you, 11, you're really 13, so... Or 12 or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And it's like, well... Bye. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just him being reckless and, like, endangering his future, like...
That's a problem
for like, really small things.
Doctor. Past doctor, and then future doctor's gonna be like, past doctor, why you did that?
Like, exactly. Like, damn, you hella irritating. And it's like, well, that was you.
Right.
Which is actually real as fuck when you do shit and you know you shouldn't be doing that shit, but then you're like, whatever.
Me going out to eat yesterday and now today being like, why the fuck did I do that? It wasn't even that good. Like, it wasn't even that good.
At least, when we do it, it's not, like, endangering our future regenerations and, like...
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be stuck inside for an extra, like, 4 days because of that, but I ain't gonna die. Like, I'm not gonna be blind in my next life or whatever. Hopefully, knock on wood. I'm probably still gonna be poor, but you know what?
You're not traveling the world. You're not traveling through the universe trying to save everybody. You know what I mean? So, like...
Right. Even though I'm trying to get my butt to Dublin. So was the $30 dinner worth it? Was it?
You gotta stop buying all them avocados, Robin.
Come on, doctor.
Actually, that's me. I had to stop buying all the avocados. My bad. I bought 3 today.
Did you guys... Sorry, this is real tangent time now, but, like, did y'all see that thing where the millionaire was like,
that's why I brought it up.
Because they be eating avocado toast. But he was like, they be spending $19 on avocado toast. Who is spending $19 on avocado toast?
No, I'm not spending $19.
What avocado costs $19, y'all?
Oh, yeah. I'm confused about where they're getting their avocados from.
That was where I got stuck. I was like, okay, look. Sometimes the avocado be $2 and you like, ugh, I shouldn't, but you do. Because,
I mean, like, I'm in a place where they don't really, like, grow avocados and it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Right. It's like, when I lived in the Midwest, like, $2.99 for an like, that's not $19. That'll make no sense.
Let's not talk about avocados, guys.
Maybe because he's in Australia.
Avocados are my favorite thing.
How much do they cost in New York, though, Connie?
No, I don't buy avocados. I also don't have a house.
What?
So.
What?
Avocados are the best thing.
You
gotta live your best life. Love yourself, Connie.
They're good fat. It's healthy fat. They're filling.
They're delicious.
I just buy guac from.
No,
they're delicious.
Guac is good, but like just an avocado is like
avocado
a
on
beautiful
toast with a little
thing.
salt, pepper.
Please,
no,
please cut this
avocado sandwiches. No, I'm keeping it because
You just chop it and then you
they're
just
so
eat
good.
It. Ugh, they're so good.
Man, I might go grab an avocado right now.
Good for you.
So back to the Hooniverse.
Listen, when I come visit you, we gonna get on that avocado train, though. Okay. Now we can get back to it, as long as we know.
Okay.
You know.
Avocados.
We're tabling this, but it's not over.
Sorry, guys. So, the TARDIS... so let's get back into the episode, and we can discuss the sort of popey aspect of it, because I think we had a lot of questions on our fancy schmancy agenda, even though it doesn't seem like we have an agenda, because there's definitely no section on avocados in the agenda today.
There's always a section on avocados.
No section on avocados.
There's always an avocado section. Just how our mission statement for Black Girls Create also has more black girls and more dragons in there. There's always a section in the agenda for avocados.
Listen, more black girls, more avocados. That's a thing I can get behind.
I can also get behind that. I can get behind both
one.
of those things. More black girls, more avocados, and more dragons.
So next on the
agenda, dragons and the black girls go and liberate the avocados from white supremacy.
So back to the agenda.
But avocados are in Mexico.
There's white supremacy in Mexico? Girl.
That's true. That's true. Can't get away from it. Okay, back to the
Sorry,
agenda.
Connie.
Connie's dying.
So the TARDIS and the Pope.
We talked about the library.
We have questions about the Pope. So, all right. So the Pope shows up, and first of all, he's speaking Italian, even though the TARDIS is there. So why didn't the translation circuit work, guys? I don't understand.
Yeah, I didn't understand that, especially because dude was like translating to the Doctor, and I was like, but aren't they like, even when they weren't like by the TARDIS, I was like, all right, cool, fine, maybe they don't get it. But then I'm like, but then when you're in the TARDIS, you really can't understand what the Pope's saying.
That's weird. I don't understand why.
That was a strange, that was a strange choice. Or maybe it was like, you remember Fires of Pompeii, when Donna spoke, like, she tried to speak Latin to the Romans, and then they thought she was speaking, like, Celtic or something. Yeah. So then, like, maybe it was something like that, but even still, no, I don't think I was confused about that.
Yeah. And then they made a reference, and I did a little Googling, so, because I was very confused. So, the Cardinal comes, and he's like, I have it that you're a person we should come to if we have questions on the highest authority or whatever. And it was from Pope Benedict IX from 1045. And then the Doctor's like, yeah, she was a real, I think I wrote down the line later. Yeah. Where he was like,
basically the Doctor and the Pope got it on. Right.
It was just like him and Queen Elizabeth. It was like the Day of the Doctor. It was like a similar situation.
Right, but here's the confusing part. Pope Benedict IX in real life was a dude. So it doesn't make sense why.
I didn't even realize women could be popes. I was like,
they cannot.
They can't be.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
They can't be, and no one was talking about that.
I was like, y'all just keep, and then I was like, well, none of this is real. So then maybe that's why, because none of this is real, and that's why they decided to make a woman the pope in 1045.
But here's the thing.
But I was confused
when I was looking up the line that he said, because I was like, wait, she? How did we get she? And so, real Pope Benedict IX was a woman, but also, like, a really, like, contentious dude. Like, people didn't like him. He may have, like, been super gay. He may have, like, destroyed the whatevers. Like, there was a lot of stuff that he was just, like, doing that was just, like, all sorts of, like, out of the ordinary for what a pope should be doing. And then, so that was like weird. And then they had the Pope, the one in the show was like, people were like, wait, that looks like Angelina Jolie, which is weird. Because it just had her like eyebrow arch, and I was like, what are we doing here? But also there is like an actual existing myth of a female Pope that I think people are like, no, it's not real, it didn't happen, but people aren't really sure, kind of like, you know, urban legend or whatever. So it's like, I don't know why Moffat conflated the two things. Like, was it just to be funny? But, like, if you wanted a female Pope, you could have just, like, looked one up. Like, you could have Googled, like, oh, has there ever been a female Pope? This lady would have showed up. You could have just used her instead of using an existing... Like, I'm just really confused.
Right, and, like, was that supposed to be a clue into the fact that this wasn't real? Like,
right. Like, all the
there were just things that I was just, like, confused.
It's like, is that a clue? That's also the other part to it.
Also, this current Pope is Pope Benedict?
Francis.
No,
right?
the one
so,
before.
Like,
one before was Pope Benedict. Current one right now that was in the episode was Francis.
Oh, yeah, this is Francis.
It was supposed to be Francis.
Okay.
Yeah, I got confused about that, too, because I thought he was talking about Pope Benedict, and then the Pope showed up, and I was like, oh, that must be Benedict. And then I was like, wait, no, the current Pope is Francis.
Right. So I was all like, I'm not Catholic, so I don't really understand.
But then I also think that, like, maybe it was just supposed to be a different Pope, right? Because this isn't our universe. And, like, when they went into
the White House, it wasn't.
The White House, it wasn't... Dude. That one bruh. It wasn't him. So I was like...
Toupee Fiasco did not make a...
Right, so that's why I was like, so what's happening? And I know they filmed before, like... our election or whatever, but it wasn't a woman either, so I mean, yeah. Somebody, and maybe it was Portia, was like, were they in the Scandal Oval Office? Because I was like, yeah.
That would have been great, actually.
Could have been Fitz got.
So I guess we can talk about the villain now and the sort of overarching, like, plot. Mm-hmm. So there are evil alien monks, and...
Were they zombies?
Aliens. Just aliens.
Because, listen.
They're not zombies, they're aliens.
They look like mummies.
They look like mummies.
Zombie mummies.
Yeah.
And I wasn't okay with that either.
Yeah, I was like, are they mummies? But they just don't have, like...
we just did this.
Yeah.
They didn't look like... I mean, what does an alien look like? They didn't look like aliens, but...
Stop stereotyping aliens,
like,
Robin.
Looked like...
Like, all the aliens that we've seen in this damn show, and you're on to... They don't look like it, though.
They don't look like aliens. Yeah. No, so this is... I don't know if any of you guys were into Buffy, but they looked like the ancient one. Like, the first vampire. And so then I was like, okay, but they're not vampires.
You remember also again in Fires of Pompeii, but the women, when they, like, breathed in the stones, then they would, like, turn to stone, they kind of look like them, too.
Oh, yeah. But mostly they look like zombie mummies. And I was not okay with that. Also, like, what kind of alien? There was never any, like... They were just, like, they were, like, rando monsters, and there was no...
Well, the thing is like, it's a 3-parter, so I'm sure we're gonna find out. I think the main thing about this one was, like, hey, nothing is real, and, like, here's these aliens. But they came in pretty late. Yeah. And, like...
Right. Which also reminded me of The Silence.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which was, like, they're there, but they're not there. And I was like, we're just recycling a lot of stuff here, Mom.
But, I mean, I didn't really...
Is this why you leaving?
I didn't fully get The Silence out of this. Like I did in that, like, they're the ones that are overseeing this world or whatever, but, like, it's...
Their movement was very
There was
no... Their hands were very silent.
Yeah. But, like, other than that, I didn't really, like... I didn't fully get, like, silence from them.
I think we just have to wait.
Especially because it doesn't seem like they have any, like, special powers that we know of so far, except for turning lights on, which apparently is, like, a universal thing that, like, humans just haven't gotten yet, where they can just point out a light and it glows again. I'm like, can I get that?
But I think they're the people... But they're the
energy,
people creating this simulation or whatever.
World, right. So then maybe they can, like...
And that is their, I guess, their powers to be able to create fake worlds or something. It's very...
This whole story was a story about what happens when computer programmers got too much time on there.
It was very Matrix, and I was very confused.
It really was.
Also, I think
Super
Moffat
Matrix.
made, like, spam, like, forwards, like, scary. like, Moffat always makes the simple things scary, and obviously there's the video game aspect of it and the Matrix aspect of it, but also it's like, why are we not talking enough about, like, there was a weird, like, Google Drive, like, Google Docs virus going around a couple weeks ago, where, like, people in different industries would get an email and would, like, open this Google Doc. Yeah, it was just like, open this Google Doc, but, like, depending on what industry you were in, it was, like, tailored to what you were doing. So I got one at work and it was, like, a PR person, but, like, video game people got it, and it was, like, this is about video games, and, like, music people got it or whatever. And then it's just, like, idea of, like, oh, don't open a thing that you don't recognize, because then it will make you kill yourself.
That's true. That's super real.
It's too real.
Wasn't there a horror film about that?
Probably.
Like, don't watch. There was a horror film that was like, don't watch this video. I mean, it was about VHS.
Oh, yeah.
Why people shouldn't use VHSs anymore, basically, or something.
I think it's The Ring with VHSs.
I don't know. I don't watch horror movies. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah, I think it's The Ring. But I didn't watch it because I don't watch scary movies.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like it was hella rude, right, for, like, the Pope and the Cardinals to be like, so here's this text, and everyone who reads it dies. Hey, doctor, you want to read it? It was like, damn. That's so disrespectful.
Yeah. But also, I think maybe
because
the Pope knew that he would survive, like the original one, like Benedict IX was like, oh, go to him because he will survive.
Right.
So
I think they kind of said that too. Like, if anyone would be able to do it, it would be him. But they also kind of said it in a way. So the library was like the library of heretical texts, and like Harry Potter apparently is blasphemous, which rude, but. All right, sure, witchcraft. Ain't nothing I hadn't heard before.
I feel like that was the point, or the joke. You know what I mean? Like, I think Bill was like, ooh, this is like Harry Potter, and the doctor was like, shh, we're in the Vatican. Like, chill out, fam.
But I think that, like, what I got, like, too is, I think they said something, I clocked it, but I didn't write it down, which my bad. But it was basically like, of all the blasphemous things in the world, the doctor is king blasphemer, like king heretic. So why don't you go ahead and do this, fam? Like, you were peak devil. So
I think it was a reference to how many, like, him refusing confession, and he's like, it would take too long. Just like a great.
Yeah, something like that. It was like.
But that's the confusing thing about this episode for me in terms of reading the text is that I don't understand what the aliens want you to do. So they don't want you to read it. I don't.
No.
Because if you read it, you realize you're in the game and then you escape. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then what else are they doing?
I don't think that you escape. I think you just die. Or you just delete yourself because you're like, I don't want to be... It's kind of like, this is the Matrixy part of it, right? It's like, I just don't want to be a pawn in this game.
But, like, if everyone finds out and everyone kills themselves, they have nothing to invade, right?
Right, that's true.
And then they can't do their...
Well, they can't practice invasion, right? But it also teaches them a little bit about humans in the sense that, like, humans do not want to be controlled. Or don't want to participate. Some humans don't want to participate in, like, fake news. You know what I mean? Like, this is not real. I don't want to do it. You know. And as soon as I know it's not real, I don't want to just, like, live this. I was reading something where this was, like, basically the crux of the thing. Like, it's not real, but do you want to? Or was I watching something? Anywho. It's like a very science fiction-y type of thing where it's like as soon as you find out that like
was it S.H.I.E.L.D. that you were watching?
Actual reality. Huh?
Like,
yeah.
Like, girl, you mentioned that hella long ago and you got mad, but like that's what it was.
Yes, because I am blocking out.
That's fast. Less than 40 minutes.
Like, it was right.
Self-preservation, man.
I think a silence came into your room and
Don't
was
think
just
too
like,
hard on
forget
it.
this one part.
Right.
Put a check hash mark on my face. But no, like, I think that was the part of it that was also like, I mean, it was confusing because why would you, I mean, it's again, that goes back to like computer programmers who need more things to do besides trying to destroy the world, but like, why would you even create a backdoor to tell you that this isn't real, right? But it also teaches the aliens that, like, how humans react to basically, like, lose-lose situations. Like, I don't think people are committing suicide hoping, I mean, they might have been committing suicide hoping they'd wake up in the real world, but it also could have just been, I don't want to be, now that I know it's not real, what's the point?
They were killing the people who were figuring it out, like Nardole disappears, and that the Cardinal, and then Bill, which, guys, we technically watched Bill die again, which is rude.
Bill just disappeared. Like, Nardole...
So, I don't know, I guess they were at the end of the simulation?
Yeah, well, yeah, I kind of feel like Nardole kind of committed suicide in a way that he was figuring it out, and he's the one that, like, stuck his hand in there to, like, behind the thing, because then Bill goes, and she's like, no, this is real. I don't want to do, like, she didn't even want to try it.
She's like, not I.
It was so black.
She reached her hand out, she was like,
what
wait,
I'm not going to
do, let me think about this. Nah.
I'm gonna go find the doctor. Right. But then as soon as she was coming, like, she was, like, coming to, like, accept the fact that it was fake, then they deleted her, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So...
It was weird.
Yeah, so I have a question, and then we can go into Bill Phil's after that. But, like, who was their casting director?
That is literally the same question I asked on Twitter. I was like, their casting director must be a person of color.
Someone killing the game.
Because it's the most black people I've ever seen on this show at one time.
It's more diverse than I, like, can remember. Because I feel like, you know, we've had, like, people of color on this show, but it always felt really, like, token. And I want to, and I want to say that, like, and again, here I am bringing this episode up again, but Sleep No More, I think most of that crew was mostly people of color. I know, but I feel like that was an episode I remember being like, oh, like, everyone here, except for maybe, like, one or two people were people of color. And then there was, like, Riggsy. I feel like they've been kind of building to it, but still, I feel like this time I'm like, whoa, there are way more... Like, all of it, Bill's friends, like, we were talking about that, like...
They couldn't have cast this person several seasons ago, because
I
feel like 11 and Amy seasons were the whitest seasons, except for the weird thing with, Amy's daughter somehow regenerating into a black person, like...
Into a black person.
I guess. I'm sure.
Oh,
actually,
my God.
You know what is a fun theory that I literally just thought of, but also doesn't really work because of the Doctor's Wife episode? Actually, that doesn't matter because it was the soul of the TARDIS and some white lady, but I think the TARDIS is black now. Because now it explains why Amy's child was born white, but then when it regenerated, it was just
Melody
was
black? But Melody regenerated from a little white girl.
River was like, I'm gonna split the difference.
But Melody regenerated from a little white girl
into a black girl, into a black baby, River, and then
yes,
and then like grew up as like a black woman, and then regenerated and was like, well, I can't go back to not like that's how I grew up.
Having some color,
yeah. We gotta move on.
I think what is great too is not just like obviously we're black, so like the black people were like they stand out to us, but I think the overall diversity, like in Knock Knock, it was very like there were a lot of different groups shown there, and even here like one thing about like Italians are basically white people, like. But there are, like, more olive-skinned, darker-skinned Italians and stuff. And, like, the Cardinal, and, like, also just, like, the Vatican comes from people from all over the world. Like
they were telling a more global story than they usually do.
Once you make Cardinal or whatever.
Like, the story in itself was like, hey, CERN, I guess, might still be in Italy, but the Vatican is in Italy. So the story they were trying to tell was also sort of like, hey, we're gonna make an attempt at global diversity because the story doesn't just happen in England, even though England is diverse, which they're finally figuring out after 10 seasons.
Right. So let's go into Bill Phil's.
But, like, wait. Are they figuring that out? Before we go into Bill Phil's, are they figuring that out? Or have we just shouted them down into submission?
I think that...
They'd like to give us some credit for that.
Might be a big part of it.
I mean, I definitely think it's because like, people have been vocal about it. Like, I don't think that they're just deciding, like, hey, now we'll finally...
As the audience becomes more global as well, they need to... Yeah. Okay, Bill Phil's.
Can we talk about Bill and Penny? And how cute they are.
Also, a black girl.
Can we talk about how cute Penny was when she was just like, and how black
when
she was
dipped.
too? Because she was like, "That's the Pope."
When she ran,
that was the Pope.
I'm out. She was like, I'm already trying. I'm trying this whole lesbian thing. This is new for me.
And
now all of a sudden there's a Pope and a bunch of folk in your bedroom.
Okay, hold up. But we got to start from the beginning of this, from Penny's perspective. So she likes this girl. She goes home with the girl. First of all, homegirl has a white mama who just does not understand what's happening. So
and like,
she's still in the closet.
Yeah, I'm like, is Bill still in the closet?
I think just
I don't know why I felt I
Bill's
didn't
still in the closet.
realize that.
I mean, is that
well, yeah,
difference?
but like
is
that's
that,
also
like, if everybody else knows but your people at home, is that technically?
You're partially in the closet. Like, that happens a lot.
But I just didn't expect that from just how open
weird.
she has been. But, you know, it also makes sense. Like, it does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that she just doesn't I don't think they have a good relationship because they don't really, have affection for each other. They kind of just put up with each other.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems sometimes like they're friends. Like, Bill does call her out and it's like, oh, so you can have people here, but I can't. I don't know. I need to know more about their relationship because the rules there and how even how Bill talks to her about Harry or getting the names mixed up for her boyfriends or whatever.
Yeah, Bill seems unsure about her. Yeah,
there's
Bill
something
seems unsure.
there.
She's just like, but I can't do that because I'm a grown up, right? Like, she wasn't assertive about it. She was sort of questioning still. So, I don't know, it was like you said, we need to know more about what their relationship is. But the Penny thing is just like, you go home, homegirl's white mama doesn't understand, and then she's trying to reassure you, but then the Pope is in her bedroom. Like, I would run to. Like, just how? But how? Like, what did you bring? Like, I would have so many questions. What did you bring me here for? What are we doing? Like, are you trying to convert me? What's happening? Are you luring me in to convert me to Christianity? Homegirl bolted.
But also Penny clocks and she's like, I thought you moved. She was like, I thought you moved out. Like, Penny questions is also now a thing too because she was like, I thought you moved out, and Bill was like, well, you know, my house got eaten by aliens, so try again later. And then she was like coming out of the bathroom and then questioning the whole Mora thing. And then she was like, that was the Pope. Like, the Pope just, what? And then was like, I gotta go.
But it wasn't real, so Bill has a second chance to make it right. Except Bill doesn't know, so it's probably gonna go wrong again.
But the doctor does know because Bill said, and this is quotes from the TARDIS, but also Bill Phil's, when she said, Doctor, when I'm on a date, when that rare and special thing happens in my real life, do not put the Pope in my bedroom. And he said,
got it.
Noted.
Yeah, that's true.
So now, when she does go for Penny in real life, I don't know, because he just got the email, and I don't think the email had all of those.
No, it was a recording.
It was a recording that had that note. It should have that note because it recorded. Well, I guess he said
all the things that he,
Okay.
I guess. I mean, it recorded. I don't know if he specified. I can't remember now. Sorry. If he specified.
I mean, he asked about Penny. Right after he went through the email.
Yeah, you're right. So
and and then he called Bill and was like, what's up with Penny.
Yeah. He should have notes from that far back. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but also...
Yep, so he got that note. So, in the real world, after the doctor gave her the bitch you flawless, you woke up like this speech, when she goes on her real life date with Penny, the Pope won't just be busting out of the bedroom. Knock on wood. Because, you know, the doctor lies. And also, he said he noted it, but things happen.
Also, is that the...
It may not... Next time, it won't be the Pope. It'll be like... It'll be the Queen. And he's like, well, you said the Pope. You didn't say nothing about the Queen. How many people am I not allowed to bring in your bedroom?
He would totally get mad. So also I loved Bill fluffing her hair while Penny was in the bathroom, because sometimes you just gotta fluff your hair. Like, that's just how your hair works. I just really loved watching her do that. Just like, ooh, mirror, fluff.
Also, her coat, dress.
I don't know what it was, but I want it. I want it. I want it.
It was like a vest.
Where I get that at?
It was like she had on like a skirt and like a turtleneck, and then she had the vest on over, and then it like became a skirt.
Was part of the skirt. Like, I thought it was like a over.
I thought it was all one overcoat of love.
Because there was a moment where there was like, the second time I watched it, I was paying attention because I was like, what is happening here? And so it was either a dress with like it was like either a black dress with like a turtleneck and like a skirt or whatever, or it was like a two-piece, like a shirt and a skirt, and then she had the vest over it, but the vest was long enough that it like kind of became like it was also part of the skirt. You know what I mean?
I don't.
Like it was long enough that it covered the skirt, except in the front where it opened.
I don't know.
I was taking notes.
To make a Bill
I don't know what you mean, but I still want it.
I need someone to make a Bill lookbook and just have it and post it and show it to me so that I can know what these things are and buy all of them. Not just for cosplay, but just for everyday life, because I got a POW patch from my jean jacket, and it says POW, and hers says WOW. But I said POW because sometimes you just gotta punch racists in the face like the doctor did a couple weeks ago. So I upgraded my jacket to be even more Bill-like because I have a jean jacket. And I don't even like light wash jean jackets, but I got one obviously for cosplay, and now I kind of wear it every day because it's been that kind of weather. So just everyday cosplay, everyday Bill cosplay, and then I tweeted it, and Pearl Mackie liked it. So we're very close to becoming best friends in real life, guys. Everyone just say a little prayer for me to become best friends with Pearl Mackie. Putting that out there.
I mean, Kyle, you better work your magic. She's responding to your tweets. She's responding to your tweets. We could have real life Bill Phils on this show.
Right, it's like me and Cheryl. Like I'm working on that
for Wizard
Team.
She's
almost done with her run on.
She's done now, I think, right?
Cursed Child. So,
And by the way, for anyone who's listening, I named my computer Pearly MacBook, and I tweeted that at Pearl Mackie, and she was like, "Wait, but why didn't I think of that?" And I was like, "You can still do it," but then she didn't reply to that one, so. We're still on a one-to-one conversation. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But
I'm just saying, shoot your shot.
I shot my shot, and she replied, so I'm going to continue to do that.
And it was adorable.
Because then we'll have a TARDIS bonus episode.
Because also I was like, Pearl MacBook!
Genius, right? Genius.
That was great.
Because I named it Bill Potts originally. Anyway.
Okay, so.
We can move on. Bill's face when the TARDIS arrives was just golden.
Yes.
Like, her face, like, I watched it both times, like, yes, how do I make that, how do I show that much, like, anger and annoyance in my face?
Contempt.
Yeah, just like.
And fear.
Because she knew something was about to go wrong, and then she's just like, it's the pipes in my bedroom. Be warned, sometimes I shout at them. So she knew she was about to have to go off, but then the Pope kind of made it 10 times worse.
Well, like, also, like, Pope, dude, you got out of the TARDIS and you were in a bedroom. And then you just kept that gal. You don't just go walking out and around people's homes.
He said, "Are you trying to kidnap me?"
Showed up in.
He was trying to escape. Just like, wait, I gotta get out of here. He's trying to kidnap me.
I also love how, like, after, like, Penny ran away, she told all the cardinals and the Pope, I think. She was like, y'all are all going to hell. I was like, damn. I mean, that's ironic, but also extreme.
Yeah. But also probably true.
Yeah.
Just showing up in my house like this. This is is trespassing.
Not a commandment, though.
I mean, there's got to be something in the commandments that, when thought through, can be, like, interpreted as such.
Probably.
So should we do quotes from the TARDIS?
Yes. So the first one, I really like this one. He said, "Assumption makes an ass out of you, and umption."
It's like, not me, though.
Like,
I'm out of this.
it's not how that saying goes, but okay.
He wasn't included. That's because he wasn't included himself. He was just like, I'm fine. I don't know what about you, but...
Right.
But also because he got stuck, because it's actually, you don't assume, but he, like, messed it up with the word. And then you're like, damn. Well, now you're stuck with an extra part of the word that you just... I don't know what to do.
But also what Connie said, like, but I'm not an ass, so yeah.
And umption.
You and umption.
Whoever that is.
You and umption.
Whoever that is.
I don't know him.
I think that Frustrated Bill is the second best Bill after Questions Bill, because she heard the TARDIS and then saw the Pope, and she was just like, the Pope, she was just like, I'm about to have a truly awesome word with someone. And I just really love her frustration, and that she was about to just roll up in the TARDIS, like, taking names, like, okay, you, and you, all out of here. So I think Frustrated Bill is my second favorite Bill after Questions Bill.
Also, I loved how Susan just fell into that accent.
It wasn't
She's working on
in the
it.
brain.
You did it. Excellent. You worked it out. In Darkness We Are Revealed, which was reading from River's notebook, and then the Doctor repeats it later.
There was a lot of stuff.
He repeats a couple things from that.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff from her notebook that notebook got repeated. So it'll be interesting to see how the notebook continues to play a part in this arc. And I just kind of like that River's presence is still there, despite the fact that we shouldn't expect to see her anymore.
Yeah, I really enjoy having River there without having River there. Which sounds weird, because, like, I would rather have River there. But, like, if we can't have her, like, you still felt her there.
Mm-hmm. You're an idiot. Everyone knows that.
It kind of reminds me.
I also loved how he did not skip a beat. He was like, well, yeah.
What was the line from last week that was similar? There was a line from last week that was similar, but now I can't remember what it is, and I'm afraid that if I open up a new thing, Google Hangouts is going to, destroy itself. But there was a line from last week that was a similar line of, like, you're a thing, and he's just like, well, duh, I know that. So I think the Doctor, it's just interesting how the Doctor's become sort of very self-aware. I think he has been, since he's been 12, yeah. Honestly, I think that it's been a while since he's been this self-aware. But it's just interesting that in this, like, lead up to regeneration that he's been. So, like, I know I have all these flaws. You just gonna have to deal with it because it gets stuff done.
Right.
Yeah, I think we talked about that. Yeah, you're right, because we did talk about that last week, about how self-aware he is now. Okay, so this line, the reason why I liked it was, like, it's a Nardole line, okay, but he kept going, and, like, even the camera moved on. Like, you could just hear the end of it with, like, background noise. Like, even the camera's like, all right, Nardole, shut up. It was great. So Bill was like, what's going on? And Nardole says, you know, the Vatican, in Rome, in Italy, where the Pope lives.
But I love the point you made.
And Bill was like, I know.
Even the camera.
I got the Vatican.
Even the camera's like, okay, I gotta go. Okay, let's just go back to what the Doctor's doing. Because you're so right, that's what happened.
Like, the only part that is, like, on screen is, you know, the Vatican, and then they're like, let's go to the Doctor. But you can still hear, in Rome, in Italy.
Where the Pope lives.
Like, in the background.
Like, girl. Without hope, without witness, without reward. So that's, like, a thing. I feel like it's said a couple times in the episode, but it was said specifically to Missy.
It's said twice.
Because...
It's Missy, he says it to
And then Missy says it back later.
She's begging for her life, and Missy says it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it said, it caps the episode.
Yeah, because, like, she's, like, doesn't want to die, obviously.
Nardole, are you secretly a badass? To which, the one part where I actually spoke to my screen, and I was like, nope,
He's
definitely not. Nope.
He literally screamed the next moment.
Sorry,
after.
Bill.
That.
Sorry, Bill. The lie detector test proved that was a lie.
But that annoyed me because he just had this like annoying little like speech, and then she kind of, I don't know, fell for it. It was just like a weird, I don't know, it was a weird moment for me. I was just like, okay, why? Calm down, chillax. Like, sit down, Nardole, sit down.
Well, he was channeling River there. Like,
I guess.
He was doing his best River impression, and she got swept up, and then a minute later was like, oh, yeah, I forgot for a minute. You actually are.
Yeah. Hey, there's Wi-Fi down here. Of course, there's Wi-Fi. It's a library. Which, regardless of where you are in time and space or the Vatican, there's always Wi-Fi, which is a comfort, you know?
Yeah. I just think libraries are just amazing, and we should just take a moment to recognize libraries and librarians.
Should we pull it out for libraries? I don't know why libraries didn't die, but...
I don't know why we're pouring. I don't know why we're pouring
one out. You just said it like we need to take a moment, and it just felt like we need to pull one out.
We just need to take a moment to like reflect and be excited and thankful for the fact that they are like knowledge keepers who that is what they do.
I wonder if Classic Who
they're literal
Classic
superheroes.
Who has done the Library of Alexandria, because I haven't followed, because that would be a really good episode, I'm sure, of like crap. Library has got to burn down anyway. It's a fixed point. Sorry. I'm not going to read the whole part of this quote, but I just really enjoyed the part where the doctor's like explaining to nobody, because, well, I guess he thinks that the Cardinals are back, but he's like explaining to them about like borrowing from the future. So he's like, the thing about the universe is whatever you need, you can always borrow. You just have got to pay it back. I just borrowed from my future. I get a few minutes of proper eyesight, but I lose something. And he's like explaining that he doesn't really know what he's going to get so that he could see again for another 20 minutes. But it's just like an interesting and very doctor thing, because I feel like he's done it before and we talked about it earlier, how he borrows from himself kind of all the time in order to help someone or save something or do something in the moment that you might have another way of doing it, but he's like, wait, no, let me just do it this way because it's just the fastest way my brain works. And how self-sacrificial the doctor can be in general, but also this season, because this is the sort of second time he's like sacrificed something of himself to like figure out a mystery.
Yeah, I also think it's interesting on a purely television standpoint, but it felt like one of those for-your consideration moments. And he had another one earlier when Thin Ice, where he did the whole thing about how we treat the least among us. And then, yeah, I feel like there was another for-your consideration moment last week. But yeah, I feel like we're doing like Capaldi's greatest hits or something. They're giving him like these great moments to act his ass off.
Well, yeah, especially because it's Capaldi's last season, so they're like, we know you can do it. Let me just write all the great like monologues for you. And then I feel like the reason why the next one struck me was because he sort of had like a I am the doctor like speech, but there was no music behind it, and that kind of like not creeped me out, but it was just like it made it stand out even more. But also now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, maybe it's also because it wasn't real, so the his like normal background music that follows him around whenever he gives epic speeches just wasn't there. But he's just like, consider this a warning on the eve of war. I am the doctor. I am what stands between you and them. And then he's like, you are not the doctor. You are not real. You don't have to be you don't have to be real to be the doctor, as long as you never give up, as long as you always trick the bad guys into their own traps. And here's the trap you fell into. Your simulation is far too good. And like, yeah, there was just no music behind it, and I'm just like, but what's happening? And then maybe now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, maybe it's because it wasn't real.
And I'm a scary, handsome genius from space, and I'm telling you, no, she's not out of it. She's like, go get Penny, Bill.
Shoot your shot, girl.
Go
Shoot your shot.
do it. Shoot your shot. 2000 whatever, 3000 400 BC, wherever
it's
we at.
2K17.
Shoot it.
And then the last one was, I've just been executed. Show a little bit of respect. Which is just so Missy.
Missy.
I love Missy.
Yeah. So I guess we'll figure out what else is happening in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, guys.
Yeah.
I almost forgot, and we're just going to forget and skip and go all the way back up. But Nardole, this is the other part about Nardole that I was like, I actually hit a few good moments. He was like, when he figured out that it wasn't real, and he was like, it's like Star Trek, like the holodeck.
Yeah. I tweeted that. I was like, it's the second Star Trek reference in 2 weeks in a row. They're getting very, like, pop culture this season, and not just with Bill, who's the character that was sort of, like, the pop culture character. So they were, like, introducing against, like, oh, and she's going to be hip and geeky or whatever. But, like, she's not the only character making all these references.
But I guess, they've been sitting there for 50 plus years, or who knows how long.
Yeah.
At that point,
I still love the idea of, like, Nardole, like, getting upset with the doctor and going and, like, just binging Star Trek because it's on Netflix now. They've been stuck together for 50 years. He's probably watched all the different Star Trek. He probably was on that, like, original series, and then he moved to the Next Generation. And, obviously, well, it's Nardole, so it's going to be, like, obviously Janeway's his favorite captain, but probably not because he's the worst. So he probably was all about, like, I don't know, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Or even, like, the Explorer one.
Yeah,
okay,
let's wrap this up.
So,
watch.
You can check out our stuff at blackgirlscreate.org and read Connie's writing at the New York Daily News. Follow us on Twitter at We Black and Nerds. I'm at Yana_Hollows. Robin is at Robin with the Y_Ravenclaw. And Connie is at Constar24. Use the hashtag Tarbis with a B to join our conversations and to let us know your thoughts about Doctor Who. You can join our Slack community where we have a channel dedicated to conversations about Doctor Who. So, find us, let us know your thoughts, and yeah.
Also, please find us and rate and review us on iTunes.
Yes.
Because that helps us.
Thank you for listening, and you can join us next week when we discuss episode 7, The Pyramid at the End of the World. So I think it's just gonna, like, continue on.
Prepare to be confused some more. Yay!
Yeah, we'll figure out more of what's going on with these aliens, and hopefully it won't be as confusing.
I'm gonna have a whiteboard out when I watch it. I'm gonna say this, and then this. Okay, I got it.
It's not gonna be helpful.
We'll see you next... It's not at all. See you next week.
The black girls have the box.